my name's Julie, and I just got finished making all these cubby organizers. Last week I built the cubbies themselves, the wood, and unfortunately I did not make a video of that, but I wanted to show you guys how to make these little cubbies. And each one is made out of foam board and fabric and duct tape, and so it's really simple. Okay, we're gonna get started, and we're gonna make the foam boards, cut them into pieces and shape them, and then cover them with fabric. So first of all, you need to measure your cubby, and so I just went and measured mine, and you need to have the height, the width, and the depth. So there's 3 different measurements, and then when you're putting the pieces together, the side pieces will be probably ½ an inch smaller, just because there's this the foam board is almost 1/4 inch, so when you're doing the side pieces of the box, you'll take like a 1/4 inch off of that so that it'll fit perfectly when you're folding it. And the materials that you'll need are foam board. The Dollar Tree has the $1.99 foam board, but if you wanted something a little stronger, you could get it at Staples and it'll be a little bit more money. I use white duct tape, but you could use any color you wanted. I just like the white because then it all looks universal. I used the adhesive spray 3M, but there's a lot of different brands. I do not recommend the Dollar Tree spray adhesive. I used it and it didn't work at all. It was a waste of money. I've also tried the Mod Podge or glue, just school glue, but it takes a lot longer to get sticky, and it takes a lot longer to dry, and you have to brush it on, and so this is not my favorite, but it is cheaper if you already have it in your at your house. You also need some fabric scissors, our fabric, and we need an X-Acto blade and a ruler. Okay, I've already cut 3 of the pieces. I got my base, and then I have my 2 sides. So you always want to just eyeball it. So I have my 2 sides, and then I need to do these sides. So when I do these sides, I need to add a 1/4 inch, maybe ½ inch, so that so the corners will match up perfectly. Okay, I've got all my pieces. I have my 2 side pieces, my 2 long side pieces. Make sure that they are exactly the same. So now what you're going to do is tape it together, and then I go to the closet and I try and match it up to make sure. I want to make sure that it fits before I cut my fabric. So I take a piece of duct tape, eyeball it. Okay, just put ½ of it on the edge. Then you're going to take your piece of foam board and match it up like that. And then carefully pull the duct tape up. You don't want to get any wrinkles or anything. I try and make it as tight as I can, so it's a little wrinkled. So I'll turn it this way so you can see. You have to make sure there's no wrinkles, because if your fabric is thin, you'll be able to see the wrinkles. Okay. So like when it can lay flat, but this is how you're going to do each corner like this. Okay, now I have taped 3 sides of my box, and they all match really well. Sometimes the duct tape will come up and it'll appear higher in this corner than it should be, and that's just because the Sides have to be flush with the bottom. So just do that. And one more side, so I always flip it over. Get my duct tape, and I'm going to put the last side on. I have all 4 sides. Now I'm just going to go to the closet and do a dry fit to just make sure that it fits. Because you don't want to go through all this work, cut the fabric, and find out it doesn't even fit. Okay, so here is my master closet. I am eventually going to make cubbies for all of the drawers. And so what you want to do, I already pre-measured, but I want to make sure that this actually fits where I want it to go. So I'm going to take my stuff out. We take the cubby, we slide it in, and it fits perfectly. So you want to have like an inch on both sides, so the inch from the top and then from the sides. There we go. You want to lay it out and see how much space you have, and you want the fabric to overlap a little bit. So I'm going to say, like right here. Cut out, I would say maybe 3 inches on each side. Better to be safe than sorry. And just cut out the whole thing. Okay. And then 3 inches on this side. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just make sure it's pretty close. Now what you're gonna do is take like an inch off of the sides and make a square. Don't go all the way to the corner yet. And just do an inch off each corner. And you're gonna go all the way around and do that. Oops. Forgot it. Okay, I've cut all the corners off, so I'm just gonna, the corners to the side. Now what you're gonna do is cut the corners this way, and do not go all the way in. Try not to go too far, because then the corner might show while you're folding it. So go all the way to, maybe like leave a half an inch away, all the way in to like maybe even a 1/4 iron. Ironing is optional. I really hate ironing, but I just feel like it makes it look better when it's ironed, because the sometimes the wrinkles are pretty bad, and then when you put it on the box, it doesn't look good. So I've got to tape the sides. Okay, so get some duct tape out. You want to tape all 4 sides. Stuff is so sticky. Okay. So I lay out my fabric, and I need to line it up exactly how it was when I was cutting the fabric. Line it up. Make sure again that this is the back side of the fabric. And then you want to match up the corners. Okay. Not perfect, but as close as I can. Okay, now what you're going to do is spray the fabric. You shake it really good. Lift up the bottom of the box. Now some people say to do to spray this part and this part, but the problem with spraying up here is that it gets everywhere. So I just like spraying it on the surface. That's the easiest way to do it. Okay. Now, when you stick it down, make sure that it is perfectly matched up. Okay. Push it down. And this stuff is so sticky, so it doesn't take long for it to dry. And then tip it over. And you're just going to smooth out the fabric. Sometimes there's some bubbles. You can see right here, there's a little like wet mark. That means I sprayed too much glue in one place. So hopefully it'll dry, but I did that on another box and it did not dry, so that mark was still there. You gotta work fast because it is very sticky. You want to like make it as tight as you can when you pull it up. And then kind of like smooth it out as you go. And sometimes you can get bubbles. And then the sides, smooth it to the sides. Okay. You got all that, then you're going to bring it up, stand it up like this, and then smooth it out on the inside as much as you can. And when you look in the middle, I just folded it down, and the corners are kind of tricky. You just have to squeeze them in. They kind of overlap a little bit. But this part of the box you won't see. Now we're going to do the front and the back. Okay, so for the front and the back, you want to fold the edges over. Just kind of eyeball it. Fold the edges, and then you're going to look and see how it looks. Okay, this one's a little too much folded. And this one needs to be folded a little more. Let's see. Hold it up. Let's see how you want it to be. Like this little corner right here, I think I cut too far in, and so now there's going to be a little fray. Okay. So, now that you have your sides, let's open them back up, and you got to spray them a tiny bit. Fold them over. And check it again. Looks good. A little bit more spray right here. And then spray the whole thing. Now you bring it up and pull it really tight. And start smoothing it out. You want it to be really tight. Get all the bubbles out. Okay. This one was a little bit frayed, so I'm just gonna put some glue to keep it from fraying. And we're gonna turn it this way and keep pushing it.